real are these stakes right now? Is this the most fighting between specifically Hezbollah and Israel that we have seen in months?
Definitely in this escalation. I mean, there was a launch of approximately 300 both drones and missiles. And if we think about that quantity, that was the same quantity that Iran launched about a month or so ago. So one of the things that they were able to do, at least Israel, was able to see this preemptively, launch their aircraft, to be able to take strikes on where they saw some of those launch sites about 30 minutes before. However, they still were able to get off between 100 and 300 rockets. And I believe they were successful where, unfortunately, only one IDF soldier was killed from either shrapnel or a warhead that got through. So right now, that escalation plus the attack you just saw on the Houthis does bring up the tension and escalates things greatly for that entire theater.
What are you watching for next? What are you most concerned about tonight?
Well, I think what everybody was looking for was this big attack from Iran. But what we really do have to look at is these tentacles that we've referred to them as before, which is the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas. What I see is Iran still striking back at Israel, but through these proxies. You know, seeing that strike on that oil tanker is rather significant, and the Houthis are operational there. One of the things that hasn't been really publicized that much is that we're still seeing attacks against U.S. interests in Iraq and Syria, even to this day. So you are starting to see each one of those factions, Syria, Iraq, the Houthis, Hezbollah, and so forth, starting to increase their attacks on Israel. That is one of the reasons why we put 2 carrier groups in the area to increase the capability for defensive measures.
I want to pick up on something that we spoke about last time, and I really appreciated the context you provided about the significance of these U.S. carrier strike groups that are in this region. We know that Hezbollah is not Hamas. Hezbollah has many more missiles that can strike much further into Israel, and the U.S. does have these 2 carrier strike teams in the area. If Hezbollah poses a threat to these groups, what does a U.S. response look like? What is the United States' role in this moment?
I see both the U.S. and other allies, but mainly the U.S. significantly providing a defensive nature. For example, you'll hear, and it is true, Hezbollah has hundreds of thousands of rockets, but they're not able to launch all those at one time. However, they do have a significant amount. So if that volume of 300 was able to get through and either overwhelm the defense systems where their fighter aircraft, the F-35s, didn't take care of the launchers ahead of time, those 300 rockets or drones, whatever, would have caused more damage within Israel. Now, they do try to strike the military targets, is what they said, but you probably would see a lot more collateral damage and civilians killed in the area. The carrier groups that are located in the Mediterranean, also down the Red Sea, are going to be looking at defending those high volume attacks. Additionally, any attacks that may come up the Red Sea with the Houthis. So we're trying to give a bigger umbrella of defensive type of natures against rockets, missiles, and drones to also augment Israel in their own defenses around their country itself. I hope that makes sense as far as how we look at it.
I appreciate that. And it is a complex situation unfolding here. But I think what's really important for viewers to understand is that these are all tentacles. It's all Iran at the end of the day, as we've said before. What is Iran's goal here, and what line are they towing, given that we hear Lloyd Austin yet again reaffirming the United States' commitment to supporting Israel, to supporting Israel's right to defend itself?
Yeah, I mean, well, honestly, you look at Hezbollah, Hamas, Iran, they really don't want the existence, period, of Israel. That's just the faction. That's what they've always stated, is they wanted to eliminate Israel from the face of the map. However, when you talk about a state-on-state operation like we saw with Iran versus Israel, that is an incredible escalation and an incredible ability for the trip the whole place into war. So Iran, really, it's not beneficial for them to trip that out. So they're able to use these proxies. But that is what they want, is they do want to eliminate Israel as we see it. So that's the issue. So by using these proxies, they're able to step back and almost use these terrorist organizations as a representation. So it's not the country of Iran attacking Israel. And that's sort of a little bit of a buffer from an international perspective, if that sort of makes sense. It just puts a little bit of a buffer to say it's a full-scale war of one country versus another.
Okay, Major Glen Ignazio, always appreciate the context you provide. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.